You're welcome back to the program. As we said earlier on, it's a big day in Rivers State, South Nigeria. Perhaps another chapter in what has turned out to be a long-winding political drama in the state. But we have joining us on the show to give us legal perspectives to this, Mr. Henry Ekene, who's the National Legal Advisor of the Committee for the Defense on Human Rights, a CDHR, as well as Mr. Tonye Sipoto-Peppel, also a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, welcome to Lunchtime Politics.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here on your platform.
Well, let me begin with...
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, good to have you. Let me begin with you, Mr. Ekene. The law is quite clear on the tenure for the local government chairman. But what we have seen is different undercurrents, different parties, pulling at the law, or at least what the law says. So let's establish this to begin with. What does the law say about the tenure of local government chairmen? According to law, what happens to them from today?
Yeah, thank you. Expressly, Section 9, subsection 1 of the Rivers State Local Government Law 2018 is an extant law, an existing law, and then is a legal framework that regulates and provides for the tenure of local councils. That's elected chairman, vice chairman, and councillors. And that section provides clearly for a 3-year term. That's to say, in Rivers State, elected council members of the 23 local government areas will serve for 3 years and no more. And that would expire today, 17th June 2024. I haven't been elected sometime in April of 2021 and then sworn in on the 17th of June 2021. So their tenures expire today. By midnight, 17th of June 2024 is the statutory expiration date of local councils in Rivers State. And let me establish one thing, Kayode. The fundamental legal framework with respect to local government system in Nigeria would include the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, precisely Section 7 of that Constitution, which established the local government system and guaranteed democratically elected councils. However, Section 7 went further to vest in the state the power to make laws with respect to the structure and administration and other matters for local government. And that is how the respective state houses of assembly across the 36 states of the Federation got the power to enact the local government laws. And then it means also that the tenure for local government councils in the respective states will be determined by that law. And that's in Rivers State, enacted since 2018, the existing extant law, is that Section 9 is expressed. So it does not really create any room for subjective assumptions or even argument with respect to the tenure of council members. It's 3 years and nothing more. And then the current council members will have their tenures expire today, at most at midnight.
So let me take this to Mr. Sipoto-Peppel. I don't know what your take is on this, but the law is quite clear. So what happens? Should they say, well, we'll still stay in office beyond this, maybe relying on a certain law that was passed by the Amewule group and all of that? I know there's a court ruling on all of that, but help us understand what should happen moving forward, just in case they say, we're staying.
Okay, as a legal practitioner and one who would stand for the rule of law, it is advisable for the chairman to understand that the society we live in needs the rule of law and respect for the law to prevent a situation of anarchy. The purported law rather, of which most of these soon-to-be former chairmen are standing on, had been declared invalid, illegal, and not in any way applicable, because the route with which they went about it was completely not
Well, Mr. Sipoto Pepple will try to reestablish connection. Looks like there's some interference there with the connection. But let me come back to you, Mr. Ekine. And I wonder if you align with him, particularly what happens from now. Should they say, well, we're staying put? What are your thoughts? That's for you, Mr. Ekine.
I can hear you. The apparent response to that is that any attempt purport by any council member, whether a chairman or a vice chairman or a councillor, to stay beyond midnight of 17th of June 2024 will amount to constituting himself in a manner that will breach the peace and then disorder, and then that will apparently create a criminal conduct. And of course, for me, the recommendation will be that the security agency should pick up such person. But then moving forward democratically, let me emphasize something here so that I would not be taken to subscribing to undemocratic moves. I am a constitutional adherent. Section 7 of the Constitution should be respected by all authorities and all persons and all states in the Federation. That is to say, we imagine that we should have all 774 councils in Nigeria at all times headed by elected councillors and chairmen and vice chairmen. However, like I said earlier, the Constitution vested the power in the House of Assembly to make laws. Even where I hold, as a lawyer, that the purported attempt by legislators and the respective legislative houses to make laws to the effect that you can even appoint caretaker committees or any other nomenclature for any administrator or head of the councils other than democratically elected council, that would be unconstitutional. But to the extent that the Rivers State local government law of 2018 is extant, to the extent that it's existing, to the extent that it has not been appealed and nullified, to the extent that it has not been declared by any court at the moment as being inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution and therefore null and void. That's actually what it is. But maybe until someone takes on that before the courts and it's so declared, to the extent that it does exist, that appears to be the only seemingly legitimate, arguably so anyway, seemingly legitimate approach for the next step in Rivers State. That's to say, the council members should exit office. It doesn't belong, it's not hereditary, it's not their birthright. They were elected into office for definite time. Some of them have served 2 terms and then sworn into office. Remember, they took an oath not to stay beyond the 3 years.
Right.
So they should exit office. Then immediately thereafter, as I can tell you, the way the law is now, elections were not even expected to be conducted until after today. The Rivers State Local Government Law 2018, that is the existing law now, is to the effect that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission shall conduct election anytime 90 days after the expiration of the term of a council in local government. That means after today, the next 90 days, they have the window to conduct that election. And that same law, also permits the governor to constitute a caretaker committee to run the affairs of local government pending the conduct of such elections. So since that is the law that exists in Rivers State, let us at least to that extent hold on to the rule of law until decided otherwise.
Let's try and speak with Mr. Sipoto Pepple now. So we need to understand what should happen next so we can better manage expectations and ensure that there's a peaceful resolution, at least to this chapter in the back and forth. So do you expect the governor now to institute a caretaker arrangement for the local government? What does the law say about that? Does that negate the need to have properly elected chairman, Mr. Sipoto Pepple?
Okay, just like my colleague has correctly pointed out, the extant law is the law of 2018, and it makes provision for caretaker committees to be put in place at the end of the tenure of elected council chairmen and their councillors. And that is what we expect the governor to do, to put in place these caretaker committees who will be in charge of the council until proper elections are done and elected officials are now in charge of this local government council.
Mr. Potapepple,
There's
this
no
is where
point-
the rubber meets the road. Pardon me. I just wanted to get your thought. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. The Amewule group
Yes.
says they've not gotten such memo, to just put it in that sense. They've not gotten anything from the governor. So who is it meant to present this to? When is it meant to present it? Because I imagine we cannot have a void anyway. So who and when?
It is clear that there's a standing order of court, which the Amewule group is trying or is at the Court of Appeal, which we had a few days ago, or rather some of the interlocutory applications, routine interlocutory applications which they made were heard a few days ago, and they were required to maintain status quo. That court order had mandated them, directed them to stop parading themselves as members of the House of Assembly. So clearly, going by that decision, the governor, we do not expect that the governor will revert to them, but he will revert to the standing House of Assembly for whatever approvals that he has.
Which is that
the
standing House of
legislature.
Assembly?
The one led by the Right Honorable Victor Okojombo. These are members of the House of Assembly who we have no contention about their membership of the House of Assembly.
Mr. Ekene, do you agree? Pardon me, Mr. Ekene, do you agree with this?
The Amewule group, stop parading yourself.
Yes.
And
Right.
you are feeling it.
Right.
Yes,
Just a moment, Mr. Potapepple. Mr. Ekene.
That's the position. That's the position of the law, and that's the only right way to go. The governor has a public duty. I'm afraid that we shouldn't have a vacuum, like you rightly observed. The governor has a public duty to, as much as possible and as quickly as he can, whichever way he thinks he should do that, that between now and midnight of today, that some form of administration at our local government levels should be established.
Right.
And the only legal form that is allowed by the local government law right now is that the governor shall constitute caretaker committees of about 5 or thereabouts, and then have them confirmed by the River State House of Assembly. And we
Right.
do have the River State House of Assembly by Right Honorable Victor Okojombo.
Well.
So I do not expect that Amewule is saying that he hasn't got any communication. He shouldn't expect one.
All
He
right.
isn't actually going to get any from the governor. The governor wouldn't. He knows that.
Right.
That the governor will expect
Well, Mr. Ekene,
communication. Victor Okojombo. Yes, please.
we have to anchor at this point, but clearly today is a very vital day for the people of River State. I would like to thank you,
Very
gentlemen,
important.
for providing insight into this matter. Mr. Henry Ekene, National Legal Advisor of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, and Mr. Toyesi Potapepple, also a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you, Caretaker. Always my pleasure to be on your platform. Quite appreciate it.